Yo, what's going on Instagram? We're back with another video. It's been a while. I've been working on the business and in the business, and I've also been training up my new team member. And so I haven't put as much time into content, and that's something that I want to not do much of, right? So I want to make this video, talk about a couple quick things. Of course, gotta share the meal. It's some homemade fries and some ground chicken, and it's like half ground chicken, half ground turkey. So, yeah, what I want to talk about is honestly like just the open. No, I'm always vulnerable and transparent on this channel, but just like the honest truth about what it means to get into tip-top shape, and also maybe not even tip-top shape, but like what it means to make a transformation and the lessons learned, right? So, I didn't talk about this for a while because I guess it was something that I felt weird about, essentially. I didn't feel like myself. Long story short, when I started my fitness coaching business, about 6 months or so before, I was in the best shape I'd ever been in my entire life. 6% body fat. I was 195 pounds, and I had a lot of muscle. And it's not that I don't anymore, but I started to prioritize other things. And these weren't necessarily bad things. It wasn't like I was going out to the clubs and hookah bar lounges, drinking like that stuff. It's like, no, I was just prioritizing other things that I wanted to be successful in. And, as somebody who's been in fitness for 13 years, I've realized that I don't need as much time as I used to. And now when I started my fitness journey, it was to see results. It was to make a transformation. It was to look better, feel better, have more confidence, all that good stuff, right? But soon after, I realized that I didn't even care that much about the progress. And, it was more so just like the act of exercising. It was always something for me that, it was my thing to do. Like, I had a lot, I'm sure you guys watching this either played a sport growing up or you had some sort of hobby. For me, I played sports, but then I also started lifting, and eventually lifting, became more of a priority for me because I realized like this is positively impacting my life in so many different ways. And, it's something that I find fulfillment and enjoyment with, and also I feel like I can create. I feel like I have so many different ideas that pop to me, whether it be nutrition, training, mindset, psychology, biomechanics, anatomy, even just general tips of like, mindset stuff, right? Really the point of this video is to do the things that the version of you that you want to be would do. Okay, bro, because the reason I brought up that story was I started to prioritize my business, and it wasn't just a one and done sort of, hey, I'm giving up my fitness, routine, but I ran into some lower back pain, and I don't like to use this as an excuse because I've never had major injuries or had to take time off from the gym except breaking my hand. Even then, bro, I was in the gym with a cast on doing legs. For a fact, I have video proof from when I was younger. When it comes to actually, staying on track, I didn't purposely fall off track. I had some lower back stuff going on. I was, at the time working with a holistic lower back coach, and he was like, dude, like, you should probably take a lot of time off from lifting. At that time, I had been working out for like probably 30 straight days. Like, I was working out every single day. Now, I wasn't training with the intensity you probably think I was. Some of the workouts were a little bit lighter, more mobility focused, but I was in the gym every single day, and I was going there probably twice a day for a while. And the reason I was doing that was, one, I had just started my online fitness coaching business, and I had so much more time on my hands, so I was going to the gym all the time. But also, I was going there to create content, content ideas. I started to fall into a habit of putting my business in front of my fitness, and I would be like, hey, I'm going to go to the gym once I finish these client calls. Now I have like 7 or 8 client calls in one day. It's like 6 p.m. It's like, okay, or maybe it's 5 p.m. Let's say I have some morning, some afternoon calls. I'm done by 5, 6 p.m. By the time that time came around, I hadn't prepped my pre-workout meal. I hadn't eaten anything, so it's like now I have to eat because I'm hungry and I'm not going to go to the gym on an empty stomach. Also, I would end up just finding myself diving into other deep work, other important work, right? It would be like, okay, now that's done. Now let me respond to all these DMs. Let me respond to all my followers reaching out. Let me, reach back out to my clients. Let me update their programs. And it was always something where it's like, okay, once I finish this, then I'm going to go work out. And then it eventually became this thing where like this sort of high that I got from fitness before started to become it almost felt like it was the same high that I was feeling from business. And it almost felt like I didn't really need to work out. Back in my head, I told myself like, bro, I need to take this time off because my lower back is recovering, whatever, right? And so the coach was just urging me to take a little bit of time off, and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to take time off altogether because I have been working out so much. My lower back had been flaring up for probably 2.5 years, and I never really like bothered to be aware enough to actually get it checked out. And come to find out, it was a potential like bulging disc, which if you guys aren't aware, a bulging disc is like essentially where a bulging disc is not as bad as a slip disc. A slip disc essentially is like, the disc slipped right underneath, and that motherfucker ain't coming back. Pardon my French, but like with a bulging disc, it's like, okay, you're putting a lot of tension on the lower back, you're putting a lot of tension, and essentially this area is just very rigid and strict and like tight, right? So I can't move well, and it's compensating over time and just getting more and more stressed. And he essentially is like explaining to me, this is a coach that looks at health on a more of like a science, not science backed, but more of a level of, think about like if you were talking with a physician and they were using their terminology, their jargon. This is essentially what it is. So it's like, okay, I'm learning about the joints and all of the inside of the body, things that I'm not as familiar and comfortable talking about as with like more of like the hypertrophy stuff that I talk with on my channel, right? But anyways, long story short, I remember he just told me like, dude, like it's there's compressive force, on your lower back, right? Just a lot of sheer force on them, and it's essentially like, he was basically explaining to me like this, like the longer that you continue strength training, you're essentially putting stress in the gym on it, and then it relieves the tension and relaxes. And then same thing, but he's like, because you're not giving your body that elongated period of time away from resistance, it's not gonna be able to heal properly. And so part of me was like, dude, this guy's a low bullshit. He's not more jacked than me. Like that's the first thing that popped in my mind. He's a savage. He's my buddy Noah. If you guys check him out on Instagram, his name's Noah East. He will solve your lower back problems. But anyways, like part of me was like, okay, but I'm also a fitness coach. Like I don't know if I want to just take advice from a different fitness coach. I also have my own philosophies. I also don't know if I 100% agree with him. But I took his advice, and I am glad that I did, because my back is fine. I haven't felt like that in a long time. It was affecting my business and stuff. But long story short, that's what initially allowed me to accept in my mind, it's okay to take time away from the gym. It's okay to not go as consistent as you were. And then guess what that led to, bro? That led to, hey, I'm not going to the gym. I might as well not eat and measure all my meals and like stay on top of my macros, because it doesn't really matter. I'm not in the gym anyways. I'll just eat with it. And it's like I'm still eating healthy, but now I'm getting away. Things are slipping out. I'm eating more sweets. It's like I'm eating less whole foods. I'm not eating my protein targets. All these things. And it's like over time, I'm noticing my physique is not where I want it to be. And this is like a straight up, like, I don't want to say identity crisis, because it's like, bro, I've realized throughout the years of building muscle and having a solid physique that like there are so much more important things than a physique. Like, there are just so many different areas of life that like having, whether it's material or tangible, that feel better than having a physique. But what I will say is, when you are the person that has the physique that you're happy and content with, and a healthy, muscular, whatever physique, that is something that is always going to be more fulfilling, because it's attached and rooted in the identity, And so, as this coach kind of instructed me and suggested me take some time off, I gave in to my desire to be like, hey, you know what? Maybe I should be like a regular person. Maybe I should kind of take some time off, kind of not prioritize my nutrition as much. And then guess what happens then? Now I'm staying up later. I'm not waking up and doing my fasted cardio. Now, a month or so later, I'm not doing any cardio. And it happened slowly. It was like unraveling. And then all of a sudden, bro, I looked at my physique one day and I'm like, bro, like I knew subconsciously I was not happy, but it's like me trying to avoid it. It's like, bro, I'm a fitness coach. I'm that motherfucker in a humble way that's been shredded, bro, since, for years, because I've been staying on top of these things. It's like the reason people don't stay in shape is because they do a fad diet, or they do a 90-day split, or a 180-day blitz, or whatever you want to call it, or 1 or 2 years, but then it's like they stop. Or even if they don't stop, because not many, I feel like more people don't stop, they keep going, but they slow down. They start slacking on the small things. They stop, they start realizing like, I can't eat this way for the rest of my life, so like I'm just going to fall back into different ways, right? And it's like, over time, you're not realizing until one day you're like, yo, what the fuck happened, bro? And excuse my French again, but like, there's this dude on YouTube. He's a business coach for like fitness trainers and whatnot, and he has these things called aggression talks. And I'm not doing anything like that crazy, bro. I'm not in an aggressive mood, don't worry. But he has these videos where he'll like essentially get his point across and like swear sometimes, and it's all valuable info. He's always spitting super helpful knowledge, but a lot of times he's like swearing, or it seems like he's yelling at the camera. And like what I've realized is I like that style of stuff, because it's like he's not yelling at me, he's yelling to get the message across to me, if that makes sense. And that's what I try to do in my content. Sometimes it's more of just me more laid back and chilling, but other times it's like things that are actually important to you, you're gonna have more conviction in your voice, right, in your tone. And so like for me, like the reason I'm even stressing this is I told myself that I was getting the fuck back into shape really quick, and I didn't realize how hard it's gonna be. Like straight up, it has been a grind. And for a while, I wasn't as consistent with the habits that I could have been, because when I started working out when I was younger, here's what I didn't do. I didn't start with trying to get everything perfect and keep that for the rest of my life. I started with a couple simple habits. I just started working out. I was eating pizza and chicken nuggets as a youngin, going to the gym though still once or twice a day. And saying I'm doing cardio every day. And then I started cleaning up my diet, eating proper foods. And now I'm meal prepping, tracking foods, etc., getting a baseline of like where I'm at. Now I'm optimizing my hormones. My metabolism is efficient. I realized like how much I didn't appreciate it when I was there, as I do now? And it's like, bro, I'll do anything to get back into, like, now I'm getting back into shape real quick. Getting lean is easy, but it's easy, but it's not for everyone. What I mean by that is it's easy to do, it's easy to look at, it's easy to see how it works, but it's hard to become the person that's capable of achieving those results, and not even just achieving the results, because I talk about this a lot, especially as of recently, to my clients. Stop focusing on outcome goals, focus on input goals. You can't control what's going to happen in the rewards and the results, but you can control what you are doing about that situation, you know? And so you can't control how you feel now and the results you have now from the work that you didn't do, right? And that shouldn't be something to beat you up and be upset over, but that should be something that should motivate you and, like, even just make you feel less mad or whatever you want to term it. Like, for me, bro, I was at the gym earlier, bro, and I realized, like, yo, you know, I'm starting to see progress again. I'm getting like a small glimpse in the mirror of, like, yo, like, this motherfucker is coming back, like, meaning meaning like my physique is going to be insanely crazy. And I'm not saying that to try to flex. Like, I don't care, bro, if you have a better physique than me or watch this video. Like, that's awesome. Like, I love, bro, working with clients that are more jacked than me. I've had clients in the past when I worked in person that were way stronger than me, pushing double the weight that I'm doing, or maybe not double, but like a lot more, right? And I've had clients in the past, online and in person, that have had better physiques than me, but they're lacking certain things that they need my assistance from. Right now, like, most of the time, yeah, I'm in better shape for my clients because it's like I'm a fitness coach. I walk the talk. But if you think about, like, somebody that's really serious about fitness, like myself, that has a fitness coach, I just kind of talked about, like, wouldn't it make sense for a fitness coach to also have a fitness coach? So it's like the people that are in really, really good shape, you'd think, oh no, they're doing everything themselves. Most of the time, no, they're trying to get information from outside counsel and some sort of like mentorship or you know, coaching, right? Versus the beginners, you'd think, oh, they're the people that need the help. A lot of times they're trying to figure it out, right? It's like the people that are brand new need some guidance. And I'm not going to say that you can get there and you can, but, like, you realize over time, with business, with fitness, with relationships, with everything, you either, maybe not with relationships, but, like, you pay with time or money, bro. You either pay with your time or your money. You can invest into a fitness coach. And I wish I did that years before I had, because I could have invested 2-3 G's and, like, actually probably learned so fucking much information over the span of like 6 months, a year and a half, and had feedback and had, like, in-person coaching. I never did any of that because I had an ego, bro. I had an ego that I could do everything myself. And not just that, bro. I was also some young teenage kid that, like, didn't have money growing up. And then I started working. I had a job, bro. I was not trying to spend my money on fitness because I thought that I could prove myself to get better results. And I wanted to focus on business one day, essentially. Even though I didn't really know what that looked like, you know. I just think it's important to look at the person you want to be and not the thing you want now. Because for me, I've never let myself fall off track like that before, and I'm still in good shape. You know, I still have muscle. I'm still relatively lean. In this past week or so, my physique's just been getting more and more dialed. But there was a long period of time, a few months back, where I was very unhappy with the person I saw in the mirror. Not because I didn't love myself, not because I didn't think of myself the same way, but because I knew that I had more power, more capabilities, and not just from the way I looked, but, like, when you get into shape, it's not that I want to be ripped like that again to look cool. Yeah, bro, that's a plus. But like I said before, it's because it turns into a different monster. Like, you're so disciplined. You're on point with every area of your life. When I tell you, when I started dieting, like, actually just consistently following a structured regimen, not restrictive, but just like a structured, somewhat regimen, still having foods I like, still having French fries here and there. When I started doing that, I started waking up super early in the morning, no alarm necessary anymore. Now I'm going to the gym. Now I'm doing cardio at the gym. Now I'm at the gym doing my fasted cardio on an empty stomach, off no caffeine, and I'm listening to a podcast or I'm listening to, you know, something beneficial, or, you know, I'm talking on my IG story out to my, you know, followers and whatnot. But I'm doing something productive, and it's like, now I'm leaving the gym and I'm getting home from the gym. Now I hit my meal. It's like, bro, I just did all that and I'm way ahead of, like, the other people. And also, like, you know, the version of me that would put that off. And putting it off, bro, like, you're always going to regret it in the long term, you know? And so what I told myself a couple months ago was like, bro, I'm getting back to fucking the shape. I'm getting locked in. And I know this might seem like crazy to some of you guys because, yeah, bro, I'm in relatively good shape. I'm 210 pounds. I'm only saying this because I literally weighed in 2 days ago. It might be 209, something like that. 6'2". And I don't know what my body fat is, but probably 12%, maybe 14. It's not anywhere I've ever been. I've never been this high in my life in terms of body fat. I like to stay around like 8 to 10, but I want to get to not just relatively, like, I want to get peeled, like 5-7% type shit. Because, like I said, like, you just walk with a different fucking aura, bro. Like, I remember I was straight up managing a business for you know, a good friend of mine, and he essentially was having me manage about, I don't know, between 2 locations. It was an in-person sort of thing. I was managing a couple of hundred clients, and most of them would come back recurring. Sometimes it would be a one and done. But, like, people would just compliment me, like, not just about, like, my physique and, like, being jacked, but also, like, something looks different about you. Like for people that I knew would say that, or like your jawline is popping, or like your face is way more defined. Like that's the thing too about getting lean. That's lit. People just notice that stuff, and like that isn't oh, this guy complimented me, I feel better from external validation. No, it's because I feel like when you're getting that, you're realizing that like, hey, like I'm the person that deserves respect, and I also am the person that respects myself because I follow through my actions, and that leads me to the goals I want to achieve. That's like 2 weeks of this cut. They've been really easy. I've been doing like 45 to 60 minutes a day on cardio and Stairmaster. Some days I'll do more like an hour and a half, just depends. But I'm doing like a bare minimum 40, 45 minutes. Strength training every single day. I've been doing so much volume, so much in the gym because it's just like, bro, I just want to accelerate the curve of results, like speed up the process so fast. And now, like I said, like this is not advice for somebody that's a beginner or that's relatively new into their fitness journey. Like, no, like, you should have urgency and go fast, but at the same time, stack these habits, don't burn yourself out. For me, I know what it's like to just literally flip a switch and like, bro, go psycho mode. Like, yo, okay, bro, I was just eating pizza and I had a bunch of like sweets, say on the holiday. Okay, bro, I'm literally locked back in. Like, I'm turning off my hunger, stuff like that, right? It doesn't always have to be that serious, but when you really can, learn what your body, can handle, you realize things get easier. And when you're in a cut, like it's like you have less food in your body, so you're not gonna feel as comfortable. But also, like, your brain's gonna look for other things to do. You're not eating as much food. You're gonna be thinking about business stuff or work or whatever. And yeah, I really just want to make this video because I hate to see when people fall off track with stuff. Even like a couple of my friends. There's a couple of my friends that in the past I remember like they weren't as consistent with the gym, and I had to say like, bro, like you gotta lock back in. Like, what's going on? And I'm not saying that to be rude. It's like, no, like I remember when you were a complete savage, bro, and you still are. But it's like, bro, you gotta get back to that. And I was saying that to one of my friends on the phone earlier. I was like, dude, you used to be on point, bro, with your physique. Like, you got to get dialed back in again. Like, I know you're still in good shape. And it's like, I'm saying that because I know he's capable of more, right? And looking at it the same way, that's why, I'm going so hard because I know how much more I'm capable of. I know what I have, done in the past. I know how easy it is for me to get ripped. And then when I say easy, it's not because it's easy. It's because I made it easy. You guys literally only have one life. You literally only have one opportunity at, like, I don't want to say anything, but you never know when the last opportunity you have to do, say, try something is going to be. And one thing that I think about a lot is, I'm in my 20s. When I'm in my 30s and 40s, my clients, most of them have pretty much efficient metabolisms and they are staying lean. And I disagree that your metabolism shuts down as you age, 100%. What shuts down is your exercise and your strength training and your energy levels, which can be fixed, but it's not, your metabolism just doesn't shut down. The body should be primed hormonally by like 35, give or take. And so it's like, why are guys in their 30s saying like I have like low energy, low test? It's like, bro, there are other problems you gotta resolve. You need to just lock in, bro. It's as simple as that. Like, you just need to lock in because you have one life. And I know it seems corny, bro. I know it seems silly, but if there's something that you want to say to somebody, bro, if there's, somebody you haven't talked to in a while that like you want to reach out to, if there's a goal you've always had, or if there's a goal that you've been working on, but you haven't given it everything, or maybe there's something that you've always deep down wanted to pursue, but like you haven't had the confidence or felt ready enough to do it. I'm telling you, bro, you're never going to feel ready in any of these decisions. You're never going to feel ready reaching out to that person that you haven't talked to in a year and a half, and you want to mend relationships, right? Or let's say you have a family member that, you haven't talked to in a while. Now they're not doing well. That's not going to be comfortable. It's like all of these things, bro, you getting into the routine, you getting the ball rolling. It all sucks, bro. It sucks, but it's like, you just have to choose. Like, do you really want to live a life like and look back one day and be like, fuck, bro, I should have done so many things different? Because like, bro, I'm in my 20s, bro. And like, I'm older than a lot of people I know. Like, a lot of people I know are younger than me. At the same time, I'm younger than a lot of people I know. It's how the world works. But like, I'm in my 20s. I'm still pretty young, and I look back on situations in my life of things that I had done, and I think, what if I had done it different? And I don't sit and like sulk and like regret, because it's like you can't go back, and things happen for a reason, and you make decisions based on the current information you have available to you. So at one moment in time, maybe you make a decision, and then you realize 2 years later, based on some awareness, maybe some different perception, you maybe wouldn't have made a decision if you had different information and you had different life experiences, right? But like, you don't know when your last opportunity is to get into shape, and also like you don't know when your body's not gonna respond the same. Like, I'm not saying that to scare you guys and say like, oh, like, like the longer you put it off, the harder it's going to be. Like, I'm not trying to say that, because that is somewhat true, because it's always going to be hard. It gets easier as soon as you just start. I think about it sometimes too, like, what happened if I just, let's say, until my 30s, kind of stayed around the same, not really training that hard, and then it's okay, let me get back into shape like I was when I was X age, or like 22, 24, 25, whatever, right? like I've never. It would be way harder, bro. Like, and I'm realizing this now. It is so much harder to get leaner and to get my metabolism operating the way it should be, and like being able to eat a ton of food and stay lean and like gain and do all this stuff and like not feel sore, and my elbows, my joints, my tendons, my ligaments feeling tight because they're not used to all the strength training. So it's like I have to get those strong over time, and I kind of have to be careful with certain movements, just like not careful, but just like get a feel for them again. And at the same time, I'm trying to push super hard to grow muscle fast. And so it's like I'm doing that, bro. And yeah, I'm just realizing like, yeah, it's only going to be harder, but if I can get a physique that I feel content with, which I'm content with my physique, but I'm nowhere near satisfied. I know I have so much more to prove. And like I said, I know that I've gotten in really good shape before, and I've been in shape my entire life. I just am not in the shape that I feel happy with. And that's not something that I go to bed sleeping over, sad about. Like, I wake up motivated, and you know, it pushes me, it drives me, because it makes me a better person. You know, being in shape is something that improves every area of your life, regardless of like when the time feels right. To understand, even though there might be times where maybe things feel somewhat more aligned, or somewhat more, maybe you're more motivated one day than another, that fear is always going to be there. That scary feeling, all those feelings are going to always be there. You're going to always not feel like doing things. You're not going to, until you just take the action. Until you take the action, bro, like your life could change. And maybe, who knows, maybe things don't change, but at least you took the risk to bet on yourself. I help my clients with focusing on input goals, not outcome goals. I can't control if one of my guys packs on 15 to 20 pounds of lean muscle. I can't. That's the goal. But what I can control is, did you hit your protein? Did you do your training sessions? Did you sleep? Did you get your recovery, your supplements? Did you do your check-ins? Did you hop on our coaching calls? Did you ask questions? Did you do your gallon of water every single day? Like, these things. All right, bro, you did all those. Then cool, you didn't get the result. Don't worry, bro, because I'm not even concerned about that. Like, I'm just happy you crushed everything. Let's see what happens next week. Next week, boom, way faster progress. Dude, I told you, bro. It's like, these are the things that it's like, you need to focus on what you can control and stop focusing on what you can't control. For so long in my life, I used to focus on outside of my own self events, things that, you know, I didn't have control over, and I would just essentially give power to those things. And when you let something outside of yourself have power, you know, and when I say have power, if something makes you upset and you don't have any control over it, that you're giving power to that thing. And you need to stop doing that. You need to live your life. You need to have the power within to not let certain things affect you, and also certain things to take action on them, because like, it's your life, bro. But like, you have the one choice, you have the one opportunity, and like, you really don't know. When I was in college, there was this kid, I wasn't that close with him, but he was a good friend of mine, and he was actually my best friend's roommate. So I hung out with him a decent amount, and it wasn't like I was just in a group. It was like, no, like, this is my boy Max. And a couple years after college, I found out he passed away, and it's unfortunate. He died at like younger than I am right now. He died a couple years ago. It's sad. He was a year older than me. And the last thing he said to me was, bro, keep going with this fitness shit. You know, you never know what could happen. And then he was like, just look at Gymshark. A simple logo popped off. And I remember, like, that was the last conversation we had. And I never talked to him again. But he would always just slide up on my stories of like my workout content. And he would be like, dude, keep going. Like, this is what people want to see. And I just remember him saying that. And I didn't think too deeply about it after, but then the fact that he passed away, it's like, you know, just like having somebody to believe in you, that believes in you, and also like sees you as like normal, and like thinks you can do big things. The fact that like that was the last time I heard from him, you know, I didn't know he was going to pass unexpectedly, and so we hadn't talked in a couple months, whatever later, you know, he passed. And so it's sad, but like, this is the exact reason that I get so motivated about like going so hard. It's like, this dude was a young 20-year-old dude that had a huge career, a huge future ahead of him. He like played baseball. He was like, this dude was a savage, but like that, my boy. And you know, just like that, in a flash of an instant, I'm on my way to work one day. I get a text in a group chat, hey, Max passed away from like something, whatever, crazy. And so I remember I got like really I really started thinking about it, because I had never lost anybody in my life at a young age like that, aside from my cousin. That like, he's my second cousin, and we were close, but it was like he was in the hospital for a while in a coma, and they thought he was gonna pass, right? But aside from that, like, I hadn't seen anybody young die like that. So I just put things into perspective, like, and it makes me want to go so much harder for him, like, to prove, you know, that like, hey, like, this dude believed me, you know, and also to prove myself and to prove other people, not wrong, but right, to show other people that like, yo, it is possible. Because when I grew up, I didn't believe in myself and my goals, and it took a long time for me to start to eventually believe in myself. And even now, it's never easy, but you have to callous your mind. You have to strengthen, you know, the way you think. And when you can do that, you let less in. That's bad. You let better things in. And like, you really don't know what tomorrow has in store. Imagine if 3 months from now, as tragic as it seems to say, imagine if 3 months from now you passed away unexpectedly. Like, seriously, I'm not, I like, if that were to happen, and let's say you always wanted to get fit, right? Or you always wanted to, I don't know, start a business or do something, right? And it's like, let's say now, like starting today or tomorrow, you start that journey and you pass away. At least you always did those things that you said you wanted to do. You lived your life. But it's like, we don't, and yeah, we don't expect those tragic things to happen, but we truly don't know. So it's like, bro, just start now, because the longer you put off, the more that it's gonna stay in the back of your mind, bro. A friend, her grandfather a couple years ago gave me this book, and it was such a weird experience. I always wanted to have like a mentor that was like a millionaire, and like fortunately, my mentor Brandon, I'm pretty sure he's a millionaire at least. I know he's a 7-figure business owner at least. But like I always wanted to have like some millionaire mentor, some person that could like give me like knowledge or whatever, and even just like gain wisdom from, and like apprentice, essentially ask questions and like learn from, because I always wanted to be successful, right? And it was funny because like this guy was the opposite of that. No, I'm not saying I'm not bashing him. I'm not saying he was like not financially okay, but I just remember finding out her grandfather was an entrepreneur. I'm like, oh, I can't wait to meet him, whatever. That's awesome. He's a business owner, whatever. He has books and stuff. He had written some books. She's like, yeah, he has a bunch of copies. He'll give you one. I'm like, that's awesome. I met him and I read the book, and come to find out, I don't know all the details, so I don't want to just put this out there. It might be wrong. But long story short, he didn't like do business long term. So I don't know if he failed business, like if his business failed and just gave up, because really don't fail unless you stop, right? There's so many times in my business I failed, where I wasted tons of money, but I got it back, or I did something that wasn't working, and then I fixed it and tried something different that started working, and then I started helping more people, right? But it was different for this guy because he essentially started a business, and he wrote the book that he gave me. The book he wrote was all about the bad things they don't tell you about entrepreneurship, what you would think would be frightening to hear as somebody that's 2 weeks away from considering leaving his job, and maybe 2 months, something like that, from going into like personal training and then getting into the fitness space, right? It was interesting, and I wasn't scared by reading it. I was generally just curious, but I remember reading it, and there were so many different questions that he asked. And one of the things that he said was, so many people wait for tomorrow. They wait for this weekend. They wait for the time to be right. They wait for the money to be in the bank to start the business. And he kept going on with a bunch of other like examples. He's like, I'm telling you, like, start now. Start today. Start when you're not ready. Start when you don't know what to do. Just start, because so many people look back one day and say, I wish. And bro, that shit hit hard. It was just like the way he worded it. It's so true. It's like, I had so much regret for so many years, bro, because I was in my early 20s and I didn't have a fitness coaching business, and it was my dream all these years. And so like I had to drop my ego and be like, okay, bro, I'm still gonna do this shit. And now I'm in my 20s and I have a fitness coaching business, and I work from home, and I have not the ideal life, because there essentially are levels to this shit, right? But I'm building the life that I want for myself, for my family, for my future, to lead other guys, to help more people. And that's all I have for this video, is just like lead more people, help more people, make more change. And the way to do that is just take action on your goals right freaking now, bro, because it's like, you don't know how many people will see how talented you are until you try those things. And for me, I've connected with so many people in the business space, with different masterminds I've gone to, things like that, where they've seen different strengths in me that I didn't see myself, and we've made amazing connections and things like that. And I've learned so much from them and different mentors and whatnot. But I wish I would have started sooner. That's the only regret. But there are no regrets. So we're here in the moment. So just take action on your goals, bro. Just like literally, you can live the life that you want. And I know this is like a super long talk. I just had like a bunch of like stuff on my mind, specifically about like getting locked back in, because I know how, I don't want to say worthless or helpless, but you do in a sense you feel slightly more disadvantaged when you're not locked in your health and fitness, because you're just not the same type of person. So just go get after it, bro. Let me finish this meal, please. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Check me on Instagram. It's JaceRoundFit. And on some real shit, like, yo, I straight up love all of you guys, my followers. Not in a weird way, but you guys are savages for hitting that like and subscribe button. If you like this stuff, just let me know. I don't really care about YouTube. I never have cared about YouTube. I love YouTube, but what I'll say is I've never cared about like how many likes or subscribers I got on YouTube. I have goals of how many subscribers I want to help, how many people I want to help, etc. But I've never worried about like who watches what, or like my biggest thing with YouTube is just, bro, let me just give the unfiltered raw truth. And let me, that's how all my videos are. It's just me talking. I know a lot of you guys resonate with it. And I know a lot of, as corny as this sounds, there's a lot of YouTube videos that have given me a lot of insight that have shifted my life. And a couple of them have like, you know, as a matter of fact, like somebody on YouTube that I came across, he was going viral at the time on TikTok and on Instagram, and then he started going semi-viral on YouTube. Found his page, started watching his content. I'm like, yo, I really resonate with this dude. Joined his free school community, got connected with him, and then started learning about essentially what he does. Like he teaches like business strategies. I want to give away his sauce, but I would have never met that dude had I not went on that YouTube video, right? And so I know that there are similar people out there watching videos, and you probably don't watch the whole thing, or maybe you do, who knows? But maybe this can give you some value, and if it doesn't, then I'll be better to drop better value next time. Just drop in the comments what type of topics you want me to chat on more. This was just top of mind for me. Raw, dog, free ball, airflow style, waterfall, whatever you want to call it, bro. We're locked in. I love you guys so much, bro. Like, you guys are the best subscribers ever. And it's like, I literally have almost 400 subscribers. And 400 might not seem like a lot to some people, but like, I remember when I posted my first YouTube video and I had like 8 subscribers. And I remember like being so hyped about that. Like, yo, I have 8 people. Like, it's like a group of like almost 10 guys. And pretty much since then, I haven't really looked at the follower count until it's like up around 300 mark. But we're hitting 1,000 followers. We're hitting 1,000 followers soon. I'm pretty sure we've gained like over 100 subscribers. I think we've gained over 200 subscribers this year. I'll see you guys real soon. Also, start this new book in the mail. Scientific Advertising by like Claude Hopkins, the OG. See what it's about. Heard a lot of good things, and I didn't realize how small it was. The book is literally 120 pages. That's crazy. I'll see you guys.